But think about this. If your kidneys shut down, what's going to happen? You know, they put you on a machine if your kidneys shut down, call it dialysis machine. It does the work of filtering the waste products in your body. And you see, here's why I say it's very important, because anybody under 40, usually when I talk about stuff like this, they're gone. They're off to the next thing in their mind, in their consciousness. But you are preparing the bed you're going to lay in right now. 16, you are definitely preparing the bed you're going to lay in when you get to be 40. And it all comes through food. It comes through your habits. I mean, your sexual habits, to your dietary habits, from your cleansing habits. All of these habits are laying the groundwork for what's going to happen. All of the older folks in this room know what I'm talking about. If you burned the candle when you were 16, 17, 20, then you are like paying for it right now. So if you think that I look good at 52, you should see some of the guys I grew up with. I stopped burning the candle on both ends at about 25 when I had crippling arthritis, and my mother said, "Oh, you're getting Arthur early." I'm like, what? Who's Arthur? Who invited this dude into my house? Who the hell is Arthur? Excuse the expression, right? Arthritis, if y'all don't know, right? So the only way I actually dealt with that was to have a complete change in dietary habits at 25. Because nobody in Western medicine told me that you could do something like that. Nobody. Going to the MD, you think he told me, well, sir, we've got physical therapy that can help you out with that. We got some medicine that'll take that right away from you. Yeah, they'll give you painkillers and what is it, cortisone? You heard of cortisone, right? It does a good job in the beginning. I knew a lady that was on it for 2 months and blew up like 300 pounds. Next thing I saw her, most beautiful woman you can imagine. I mean, she had been chasing her all over the place, right? She was on cortisone for 2 months. When she came off of it, she blew up to 300 pounds. I couldn't believe my eyes. I cried again. Like, what happened to her? What happened? Right, so, once again, over 40. You see who's listening? Look around the room and see who's paying attention. These things that I'm talking to you about, I have lived through. I work with people from when they come in. I've delivered my daughter in the bathtub. Now you say, did I want to do it? No. I had no choice. My daughter came so fast until it's like, honey, where the catcher's mitt? I mean, she was coming out, man, like a bullet. I'm like, and thank God. Like, who's in charge? Who's in charge? Exactly. So, I mean, you know, man plans a plan, and God plans a plan. Who's the best of planners? All right. Because I didn't plan that, is what I'm trying to tell you. That was not part of my plan. So, I looked at her, she looked at me, and I said, well, we're going to do whatever you want to do.
Can I say this? With you mentioning that, I had my son over here in Hillcrest, up in the 21 building, 21F, and my sister and my mom lived with him.
Nice.
My middle boy.
Now, did you choose that?
No, that wasn't my choice.
But you knew. But there's a point at which you just knew something was going to happen, and it had to happen now, and you just have to, if you've ever been in a situation where you just had to say, God's will be done. If you've ever been there, you will never go back. I mean, you might backslide, and we do that all the time. But if you've been in a situation where you've had to say, God's will be done, and just like let the chips fall where they may, back against the wall. My father used to always tell me, it's like, son, don't get in a fighting situation and be in the middle of the crowd. Find the wall. Get your back against the wall and say, God's will be done. And it's only 2 times in my life, thank God, that I've had to do that. In the physical world. And I just backed up. I remember his voice. Just back up and come out fighting. Right? If you've ever been in a situation, ever, and I've seen, I hand it to you, man. I don't know why women ever have more than one kid. I'm shocked at the fact that they choose that. Because the first time is traumatizing to me. Right? I'm like, honey, we'll never do this again, right? A year later, she's like, let's have another kid. I'm like, are you losing your mind? Do you know what you went through? Do you know what you took me through? Right? But God's will be done, right? You just erase the memory of all of that erases. You know, and you do it again. And I'm like, man, that's amazing. You know, that's amazing. It's amazing that God is that forgiving, that He will erase the memory just to populate our planet. Because if you thought about it all, would you really do it over and over again? You don't think about it. It erases from your memory. It's like a memory that's pulled from your brain. And you're like, oh, babies are so cute. Let's have another one. Right? Or it just happens. God's will be done. Because a child will bring out more in you, and this is what I say to men. You know, I am a 100% dad. There's no choice. Even if I didn't choose to, I didn't have a choice. But I choose to. Because everything that comes from you, you have to take responsibility for it. And it is a major, major thing. But I say even more, the growth that comes out of it is something that God's will be done. It's the same thing. It has to unfold in that way. So health-wise, the diet, lower the meat content. You can say that you love meat, but meat doesn't love you the older you get. I want to go back to the older you get. My grandmother's 102. Do you think we feed her a lot of meat? Do you think we feed her a little bit of meat? Just a little bit of meat. There's certain cultures that are considered vegetarian, and they only eat meat a few times a year.